Hey, there you are, and welcome to My Dude Watch. My name is Jason, and we have an interesting diver for you today. It looks great, but does it measure up to the high standards that you have for it? That's what we're here to find out. And if you're at work, tell them to hold your calls because we are talking watches.
They call me a god.
So we're just about ready to go, but before we do, let's do a quick wrist check. This is the Merkur Crosslines. This is quite a stunner here, and I hope the camera does this watch justice. It has a retro look to me, maybe a 70s appeal. This watch is 38 millimeters and only 45 millimeters lug to lug. It also has its own in-house Merkur self-developed automatic movement. And we're working on a review for this one. They'll come up soon. Okay, so today's review will be on the San Martin SN0116. This is a very attractive watch. The color is simply outstanding. But how does this watch perform? Well, let's begin with the tell of the tape. And she measures 39.5 millimeters right across the top. She is 12.2 millimeters thick, and her lug-to-lug length is 46.5 millimeters. The dial is protected by sapphire crystal with AR coating, and power in the 0116 is no surprise, it's an NH35. San Martin loaded this watch out with specs too and built this watch with precision and craftsmanship. So let's take a very detailed look at this watch, and we'll begin with the case. And I'll start out with a profile view. The flanks on this watch are smooth, clean, and give the appearance that it's thinner than it actually is. Take a look at the lugs with that downward slant. This is well done and will really help with the fit. And if you look closely, there's also some really clean, crisp lines in the brushwork. This is exactly what you want to see when you're looking at this style of brushing. And this is a really good example of the kind of refinement that so many people say about San Martin. There are very few brands that can match this kind of craftsmanship. I don't believe anyone can at this price range. And take a look at the top edge of the flank. Here you can see a definitive bevel. This is what separates the sides from the top, and it offers a really nice transition. I also like that San Martin put the pinholes in the flanks to help with the bracelet swap. And moving up to the top of the lugs, you can see more brushwork, and at a level San Martin should be proud of. The vertical brushing is simply awesome here. The beads of rice bracelet flows well into the case, almost seamless. And let's flip the watch over and take a look at the bottom. This, like the rest of the case, is 316L stainless steel. San Martin decided to do minimal aesthetics on the case back. It's actually sterile. It's a screw-down crown and extremely solid. This diver has a claimed water resistance of 200 meters. Okay, let's go back to the top of the watch and take a look at the bezel. The first thing to note is the curve, depending on the angle that you're looking from. It's not a ceramic insert at all. It's a sapphire construction, which adds a nice curve and a bit of distortion to the numbers. This change has added a bit of life to the bezel that otherwise would be just like the countless others. And this sapphire construction allows for changes to occur right before your eyes. The green changes, the distortion of the numbers changes. It's quite simply a wonderful design. And this is a 120-click unidirectional bezel that by all accounts functions incredibly well. So let's give it a go. And the bezel feels nice, has just the right amount of friction. I like how it feels as it clicks through the runs. It has a coin edge grip, which is still the best design after all of these years. The bezel surrounds a nice piece of AR-coated sapphire crystal. I love that there's no Cyclops window on this watch either. The decision to put the date window at the 6 o'clock is an excellent idea. And now let's discuss the crown. The crown appears to be a little oversized, which is truthfully something I like. It's easy to grasp, easier to operate, and feels solid and well built. Now, it doesn't have any crown protectors, which is absolutely fine, and I'll prove it. How many of you guys are going deep sea diving later this week? Yeah, me neither. Okay, we're making really good progress here, so we'll keep rolling and take a look at the bracelet. This bracelet, like the rest of the watch, is made of 316L stainless steel. The bracelet is a beads of rice design, which seems to fit the aesthetics well. San Martin did a great job here, and each link is a separate piece of metal. They didn't take any shortcuts with this bracelet. And why is this important? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It allows the bracelet to adapt to your wrist perfectly, which allows for a much nicer wearing experience. Also, to help with comfort is a tapering effect that goes from 20 millimeters at the lugs to 16 at the clasp. And speaking of the clasp, this is an on-the-fly adjustment. This is an amazing feature that other brands should deploy more often. Thank you, San Martin. Well done. So before we get into the dial, let's talk really quick about the wearing experience of this watch. It's 39 millimeters, which is the perfect size for most people. This beads of rice bracelet is smooth and has wonderful articulation. So if you add those two things along with a case that's just 12.2 millimeters thick, you have a very comfortable watch. And now we'll take a deep dive into the dial. Okay, so let's take a look at these colors on this dial. What do you guys think of that green and yellow? I really like it. It's different, but those two colors just work together. I really love the dial design. It has a yellow tone, but don't you agree that there's almost a hint of metallic in there? Also, when the light hits this dial, there's a unique reflection. It's really nice to witness. And take a look at the most outer edge of the dial. You'll see a lime green minute track. This is just packed with lume. And this really gives a nice look when the lights go out. And I'll show you that lume shortly. I also really like how the seconds hand reaches way out to the outer edge of the markers. The same thing goes for the minute hand. These may seem basic to some, but these are important things when you're trying to make a complete watch. And there's also a whole lot of lume filled into these hands as well. And I want you to take note of this date complication at the 6 o'clock. Take a close look at the date wheel. It's perfectly matching the dial. And this is a really good move by San Martin. It gives the NH35 a different feel. I really like that. Now, just under the 12 o'clock position is the San Martin logo. Now, I'm not a real big fan of that logo, but it certainly is not a deal breaker, although I wish they would consider a change. Now, down south on the dial, just above the 6 o'clock date complication, are printed words that say automatic and 200 meters. The indices are applied and done so evenly and aligned perfectly. And overall, this is a really fine looking watch, and San Martin should be commended for their work. And let's do a quick lume check. And here you can see two different kinds of lume deployed here, and it makes for a nice show of light. The lume is incredible, and the minute marker glowing like that shows a real strong move by San Martin. Okay, so we've reached that part of the video where we kind of review what we talked about and put it all together and see if we can make sense of it all. And we do this in a section that we like to call gripes and likes. Okay, so like always, we'll start with the gripes. The thing is, I don't have a lot of gripes, but I do have a few observations. And number one, the case back. It's sterile. Now, it's not a big deal, and ultimately it doesn't really matter, but these watches are expensive, and we do expect a little bit more. And number two, the crown. This may be an NH35 issue, but I have noticed when you push the crown in and you begin to turn, those hands begin to wind. And now the likes. Where do I begin? There's a whole lot to like about this watch. And number one, the overall feel and construction of this watch. I don't really know what else to add to that because this watch is just made so well, looks great, feels strong and solid. It's wonderful construction. And number two, the bracelet. It articulates well, it's fluid, looks great, feels solid, wonderful bracelet. And number three, the lume. Two great colors, glows bright. It's bright from the start, and it'll last you through the night. And number four, San Martin's reputation. This watch has exceeded all expectations that we had. So this watch is not about being perfect, nor is it. It's about giving watch buyers exactly what they want, and San Martin's able to capture that. So, do we recommend this watch? Oh yeah.
They call me a god.
Hey, you made it to the end of another video. Thank you for doing that. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please take the time to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't like the video because you're tired of looking at this face, please subscribe anyway. We'll do better next time. All right, if you guys want to know more about these watches, there are affiliate links in the description. Now, like I was saying about these affiliate links, if you want to know more about these watches, investigate, go through these affiliate links, take a look, investigate for yourself because we want to make sure you only buy the watches you want to buy. But if you do purchase, just remember, we get a small commission, but you don't pay more. All right. Thanks again for watching. We really do appreciate that. My name is Jason with My Dude Watch, and we'll see you next time. But don't forget, dudes can't be late.
They call me a